Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back. I haven't done this in weeks. I don't know what I'm doing.
It's been a second.
Because you did one episode by yourself, and then...
And no one liked that.
Yes, they did. So how did the episode go on your own? Did you like it?
Well, a lot of nightmare-inducing stuff happened. I was very scared down here by myself.
Yeah, I didn't even come down here. I stayed.
Yeah.
I stayed upstairs.
No, you were upstairs the entire time.
I didn't feel good.
No, yeah, I felt really good afterwards.
To be fair, so we haven't uploaded... How many episodes have we technically missed? 3? Because we missed 2 weeks in a row, then you filmed 1, and then we missed last week, right?
I think it may have been 4, technically, at this point, because I remember there was 2 weeks where we actually gave an update. 1 week when we just went completely dark. The week after that, I recorded, and then we didn't get to upload last week, so a bit out of order.
We've had, nothing but chaos going on in our lives.
Sickness.
We had to go to Cincinnati. Well, we went to a horror convention that was completely optional. We paid to go to. I don't know what happened to me at that convention, but I have never been that sick in my life.
Didn't you get food poisoning?
I don't know. I do know I ate some questionable sour cream.
All sour cream is questionable. You just got the evil version.
The next day, TMI, but I had things coming out of my body at such a rapid pace that I got dehydrated, passed out, and fell down the stairs.
Has anyone in the comments had a colonoscopy?
Yeah, Eric was like, this is very much colonoscopy core without taking the medication. I lost almost 15 pounds because I couldn't keep anything down.
You could have had a very clean colonoscopy.
I could have. I probably should have went and been like, you want to check me, doc?
I did the work for you.
They would have been like, can you get out of my office, actually? But no, we had that happen. Then we had some just bad luck to where we were just so stressed out. Our dryer broke.
Oh my god, yeah, our dryer did break.
So we had to make a big girl purchase, and it made me nauseous because I didn't know dryers were that much money.
$800.
We got a
which I know isn't that expensive, but it is to drop on a piece of equipment.
What brand did we get?
We got an LG.
We did. We had a Samsung before. I don't know how long it lasted. It was here when we moved in. Our washer right now is Samsung, but I'm tempted to get the matching washer to this one because it's gray and really pretty. But yeah,
except it doesn't tell you how long you have left on the dryer. It's just a guessing game.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
This
isn't a diss LG. You can sponsor us if you want to.
We had that happen. Our porch, we finally fixed it because we want to make a cute little sitting area out there. We have furniture that's coming in and stuff.
What if we recorded a couple episodes out there?
Well, we live right by a road, so it might be too loud.
It wouldn't be too bad if we were to set up a curtain in front of us. And then we had microphones
a noise-reducing curtain?
I mean, yeah, if we got actual curtains. I mean,
maybe.
It disrupts the acoustics.
Maybe if we film really late at night, where there's no cars.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
And terrifying.
Our neighbors just call the cops.
Yeah, probably.
These people are outside screaming about Wendy boys.
The cult is here.
Yeah, all that happened. I think the week that you filmed, I had a really bad period. I was bedridden.
Oh god, yeah.
Because I remember when you were down here filming, I was like, I can't even go with you. I just stayed in bed.
No, you were popping those ibuprofen like they're Flintstone vitamins.
I was. Literally, Pamprin and, what's the other one? Midol don't even touch me anymore. It's literally 800 milligrams of ibuprofen or I am dying.
But anyway, yes, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't unsubscribed by now, thank you. If you did, I understand. But let's go ahead and get into today's episode. Today we're going to be doing some randomly picked stories, different location, same nightmare. Our first story that's coming in comes to us from, what was it, Massachusetts?
I think so.
And
you skipped an introduction.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, it wasn't listed on the thing. I forgot about it. So let's start over.
No, that's fine. If you have any stories that you would like to send to us, please send to thetreesstarebackpodcast@gmail.com, I think is what it is.
It's always going to be listed in the description.
Yeah, please send those stories in, and the description has all of our other social medias as well.
You can find us on YouTube, Spotify. That's where we're at right now, because not only have we not been uploading, I have not been venturing out to iTunes or SoundCloud or anything like that.
Is it called iTunes still, or is it Apple Music, you old man? I don't think it's called iTunes anymore.
Oh, no.
Oh, the gray hairs. I saw one just sprout just
no.
now.
Yeah, it's with its brothers.
Okay, but with that being said, yes, we have 2 stories to read today that we're gonna chat about. I just felt like we shouldn't really jump into it because I want to get back into posting every week, every Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
But I didn't want to just jump into this and not address the fact that we have been sporadic with uploading and that I have been legitimately MIA on here. What happened?
Oh, I hope that was on camera. Pyrrha's hands just, peeked out from behind the chair, and they were, digging up out. It looks like an old zombie movie where they come through the ground. Wait, I wonder if I can get her to do it. Yeah!
Oh!
Get out of here, zombie. But yes, no, uploads have been pretty sporadic. We're wanting to get back on track every Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're so... Why do you antagonize her? You're a bad sister.
Everyone got zoomies at once. Do my little perch on the catwalk. So if you're listening and not watching, we had one cat sprout up from behind the couch, just ready to fight, and then another one came up there I'll fight you. So that's what that noise was. If you just heard random scritches just now.
Yeah, literally.
But I highly recommend going on YouTube and checking out what that looked like because that was fantastic.
But back to what I was saying, we are so devoted into getting back on track that we are recording 2 episodes tonight. Mm-hmm. So you'll be getting episode 6 tonight, and next week at Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you'll get episode 7. And
it's actually about a haunted location that we visited that I actually really want to go back to this year because we had some pretty scary experiences there.
And if you follow Morgan on social medias like TikTok and YouTube, you'll know that another social influencer, Dustin, he's actually sent in one of his stories for us to read.
I haven't told it yet.
Hmm?
I haven't told that story yet.
But people know who he is, is what I'm saying.
But yeah, we'll be reading it on here.
So yeah, this will be the first time we've told his story at Helen's Bridge.
By the time you guys see that episode, it will be out because it's on the schedule to go up next week. Mm-hmm. But you'll see this one before that. But yes.
But without getting ahead of ourselves... Now, come on, Pete, you gotta go.
Get situated so I can tell a story.
Bite me, you little goblin.
Please leave all of that in. Okay. Is everyone in the room ready?
PT, are we ready?
Okay. I'm from Massachusetts, and we live around 10 minutes from where the actual witch trials took place. To put into perspective of how old our property is, I'm just going to list a couple of the paranormal experiences we've had in the particular places, even though I've been in tune with the paranormal since I was born. Here's a few small but possibly dismissible things. Clocks running backwards every night.
Oh.
Salt and pepper shaker sliding across the counter before falling off and shattering. Doors opening and slamming shut. My front open toaster opening and closing on its own. Knocking. Music turning on the record players. A 4-pound brick of clay flying across the room and splattering into my sister.
Oh.
Sulfur scents. Hot and cold spots. Mimic activity like name calling. A sound machine turning on. Pencils and things on the table spinning around like you flicked them. People having night terrors who've never had them before. My sister waking up and speaking some sort of Arabic-sounding language. Thousands of flies infesting the house at once for no apparent reason.
I'm sorry. Why is your sister the one that seems to be going through it the most? A 4-pound brick of clay? How is she still here? Do you know what a 4-pound brick of clay is? That's an uncooked brick.
What? What? Okay, let me get through this story and then we will deal with your banter. Let me read it first. I've brought many skeptics into this house before. None of them were when they left. The story I'm going to tell you now is the one that happened to my father. He brought a date over to the house. We live in the basement apartment, and that's important. They were watching a comedy on the couch, and the way the house is set up, you can see through the door into my room. My room has the front door in it. There's no door in the laundry room. Him and his date are sitting on the couch when my dad sees a figure with a veil walk across the doorway. She was short but had no feet, almost transparent, and looked like an old lady. My dad doesn't think anything of it and continues watching the movie because of how he's used to these things. His date, however, starts acting restless and says she has to leave. My dad says, "Is anything wrong?" worrying he did something. She just says she has to leave, but asks if he saw that too. Him, not wanting to sound crazy to his date, asks what she saw, and it was that exact same figure. Because it's a basement apartment, we have to step up a stair to get out the door. We also have an unnecessarily heavy door that you need to pull on with a lot of force to move. When the date went to step out of that door, it slammed shut, full force on her ankle, spraining it. My dad said, "Oh my God, are you okay?" and said, "It wasn't me." She said she knew that. The way I would immediately be like, "I think it was you."
What?
It sounds suspicious. Sounds like the sounds of...
Bro knows that his house is haunted and he's gonna still try and blame his date?
We later found out that she was a horrible person, so I feel it protected us.
Oh.
So she deserved to have the ankle sprain. Anyways. The lady, after she left the house, also researched the property and found out a little girl died of TB or something in the late 1800s. She was around 12 and looked like my sister. Long black hair and a gown. We found out from an old portrait.
Oof.
We had my grandmother over a few weeks later and heard her talking to herself in the bathroom. She's a little crazy, so we just asked her who she was talking to, and she said it was the little girl that she knows us, and that was a little nerve-wracking. Here's another story from my mom. My mom's first time sleeping over, she went downstairs from the top floor of the house to use the bathroom. She found a white fluffy cat and started petting it. My mom's not a cat person, but this one was extremely friendly. So after petting the kitty, she went back to my dad and asked why he never told her he had a cat. "We don't have a cat. I just pet him. He was a Persian and white," my mom said. "Oh yeah? That's Fluffy. So you do have a cat. Fluffy died 15 years ago. He was my grandma's and only liked women. Now we have a porcelain Fluffy statue, and I don't know why. There's a haunted forest near our house, and one day we had our friends over and decided to explore. There's a lot of local rumors of cults and stuff happening out there, so we generally don't take stuff from there into the house out of superstition. Well, our friends brought some acorns back and left them at the house. No big deal. Later that night, my dad was trying to go to sleep and he heard a sound. The acorn was on the floor, so he picked it up and had to pick it up again 3 or 4 more times before he finally put it at the bottom of the trash. It fell out of there again, and he decided it must have been the little girl and told it to leave us alone. He left a toy out for it, and activity's been pretty quiet since. We now have no acorn in the house rule. These are just a few of the experiences we've had in the house. If you'd like to hear more, let me know. I also have so many more that I want to tell, like the time I think I got possessed, or the shadow demon guy who lives under the stairs. Thank you.
Huh?
Okay, there's so much to unpack there. Okay.
Yeah, like the end.
Also, Eric definitely cut it out, but, in the middle of this, okay, I have, like, GERD really bad from a panic disorder, and my throat shut in the middle of this. Like, Eric definitely cut it out because I threw up, but, I just want you guys to go back and listen, when I said, like, which part did I choke on?
It was...
The one where it was, like, my sister was waking up speaking in some sort of Arabic language. My throat's, like, closed. I'm
yeah.
like, language.
Like, I thought you were, like, panicking over the language thing.
No,
I was like...
frickin' GERD.
Frickin' GERD.
So, I'm gonna go... The fact that this is 10 minutes away from where the witch trials took place...
Yeah.
...tells me right off the bat that there's some wicked energy there. The witch trials are so fascinating because I feel like when I learned about them in school, it wasn't accurately taught. I don't know, did you even learn about them in school?
Actually, our English teacher was really cool with the way that they explained the witch trials. She compared it really heavily to... I don't know what this term is called, but it's a historical thing regarding communism back in the late 80s. But it was basically like... They were pretty adamant about being honest about it. It's like, yeah, basically, if you just pointed at someone and said witch, they got, like...
Well, what baffles me about it is they weren't killing witches. They were killing women.
Yeah, they were just
women
killing
who could
women.
read.
Yeah.
Like, it was actually insane. So, the amount of energy, the fear, and the anger, and just all of that there, I'm not surprised it manifests into stuff.
It's like, not only were they not... They weren't killing, witches. Of course, there may be people practicing, but it's like, regardless, it's like they were taking those people out and taking out people that they thought might have information on them.
Yeah.
There was this one man, I don't remember his name, but they were questioning him, and he was like, "You're not cooperating." So they put heavy rocks on him until he passed away. And he said, they were like, tell us what you know. And he looked at him and he said, "More weight." Those were his last words.
Oh my god.
Yeah, bro went out a fucking solid.
Jesus. Yeah, with that alone, that's not surprising.
Yeah.
A few of the things that happened there, so a few stood out to me. The clock's running backwards is like something straight out of The Conjuring.
Yeah, it really is.
I thought that was horrifying, and that's not something I hear about. And I get a lot of stories about like ghosts. I don't know if I've ever heard about a clock running backwards.
Well, but I wonder what kind of clock it is though, because if it's like like a regular clock with the hands.
I assume it'd be like
with the hands, not like a digital clock.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but from that one, I'm just getting like, especially when it comes to like the acorn thing, it's getting like trickster. Like it's just trying to like tease and toy
like
and stuff
Faye,
like that.
in a way.
Kind of.
I don't know if they're seeing a little girl there. That still could be a trickster spirit. I'm not picking up Faye from it.
I don't mean like trickster. I just mean like it's playing pranks. I mean like it keeps tossing acorns on the floor.
But I mean,
like just play and he gave it a toy and it stopped. Like obviously she just wanted to play.
Okay, but is there more than one thing? Because I don't think a little girl would have slammed a door so hard it sprained a woman's ankle. So there's probably more than one thing in the house.
That's true. And
and the pound of brick, and the pound of clay brick.
The Arabic language thing.
Yeah, and the sulfur scents.
Mm-hmm.
The mimic activity could be literally any of that. I mean, just because something mimics, luckily, doesn't always mean it's a mimic.
But what scares me is the thousands of flies infesting.
Yeah, that's like textbook for like bad things.
Something dark.
Yeah. Let's see, what else was on here?
I would say, if anything, whatever's causing the influx of flies is probably also causing the sulfur smell. I
bet the cat, Fluffy, is a protector.
I bet it is.
Cats are really good for protectors, especially ghost cats. The haunted forest that's near their house, I wonder if that's a big reason that they have a lot of stuff going on, because they mentioned cults and different things happening there. I'd like to know what exactly happened with the cults in the woods. Like, what exactly went on. That's really interesting. I definitely want to hear more stories, so if you're listening to this, please send in more stories, because that was incredible.
And keep in mind something about, like, it just going back a little bit to the witch trials there. The Salem witch trials are just the ones that were documented and widely talked about. God only knows how many, like, actual, like, massacres were going on across the early, colonies.
Yeah. I wonder where all they happened. I guess we'll never know all of them.
Oh, we'll never know all of them.
That makes me really sad.
It does me too.
Okay, we have another story lined up, and it is Rick's turn.
Oh, yeah. And this story is coming to us from Mesa, Arizona.
Is it Mesa or Mesa?
Mesa, Arizona.
Fair enough. Have a good day.
Oh, so this is actually, this person sent us 3 stories in one email.
Yeah.
All right.
The last one was 3 stories, too.
Well, yeah, but they labeled it.
That's fair. You said that ADHD brain.
I don't want to talk about it. So this started when I lived back in Mesa, Arizona. I was at my great-grandma's house and I was about 4. It was before my little sister was born, and I had a little imaginary friend. I can't remember what her name was, but I do remember that my mom had the same friend with the same name when she was my age at the same house. She was a little girl with brown hair and a little nightgown, it seemed to be. After talking to my mom about her, she told me she had a friend when she was my age with the same name. When I talked to my grandma about it, she turned pale. Turned out she and a few of her friends, when she first moved into that house, used a Ouija board and contacted a demon that used that name and disguised itself as a little girl.
Did I read this story already?
Did you?
I recognize it.
We didn't tell it on the podcast, though.
True. I guess it's okay.
Yeah. So that was story 1. Starting off strong there.
Do you want to, since they're broken up like that, do you want to talk about each one?
Yeah, sure. We can just do a little breakdown. I mean, it's not really uncommon for Ouija demons to go based off of fake names. Of course, you gotta remember, though, with certain generations of people, anything, like that could be seen as demonic. So, real coin toss there if this is something dark possessing a Ouija board, or if this is just an actual spirit that contacted someone using a spirit board.
Yeah, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
Ouija boards are really tricky, because I just feel like they can be used for such good things, but such negative things can get a hold of them and just take advantage of you. And we've had it happen time and time again.
All right, second story.
Ooh, the next one takes place in Tennessee.
Oh, Middle Tennessee. Here, let me take the child.
Good old sandpaper tongue.
Let me take the child. It hasn't been clingy. PT's just right here. Alright, second story. So this next story starts when I moved to Gallatin, Tennessee. I no longer live there, but I am still in Middle Tennessee. I had just turned 7 when we moved there, and my sister just turned 1. The house we moved into had been up for sale by the owner's kid or grandkid. I can't remember exactly which one because the owner had died in the house. I'm not sure of anyone else who died, but me and my sister both had seen an old woman who I assume was the one who died in the house, and a little girl that looked almost identical to me. She was a little shorter and had shorter hair. To get the story correct, I'll have to lay out the house. You walk up the stairs to the porch, and there's a big front door. When you enter the house, there's a staircase with 23 stairs. In this hallway, there was a room with an arched doorway that took up most of the whole wall. And the door leading down to the garage, and since the house is built on a hill, needed 14 stairs to get down with a small moving chair that was broken. The woman who owned the house would use it since she couldn't walk up the stairs. This will come into play later. Next to the stairs was a small doorway in the dining room, and the dining room went to the kitchen with another small doorway. The back of the house had an office/playroom, kitchen, living room with a chimney, and a sliding barn door that cuts off the guest bedroom and bathroom. Upstairs was the primary bedroom right by the stairs. The bathroom in the middle of the hallway, and 2 rooms, which was originally my room and my little sister's room before my brother was born. Sorry about being so long, but this is where it really starts. The sliding barn door to the guest room would always open on its own, and every time it scared me to death. But my stepdad at the time would always say it's probably just the slant of the house, so I believed him every time. Around this time, my great-grandma gave us one of her antique porcelain dolls, but the door would always slide open extremely fast and make a bang. It did it all hours throughout the day and night. Eventually in this house, I had a dream that I was riding my scooter in the driveway and my stepdad was mowing the lawn. Something happened to where I blacked out, and that's where I would wake up. This dream would happen a lot when I was 7, and after I turned 8, about a month later, the exact thing would happen to me. Turned out a rock flew out of the lawnmower and shot directly in the face. Luckily, something helped me by pushing me to the side slightly, or I would have lost my left eye. After this, I was obviously fine, as I'm actively sending you this. But the next year in April, we all up and went back to Arizona as my great-grandpa was dying from cancer. We were there for a while until he had died. When we went back home, we took his piano that I loved with us back to Tennessee. We put it in the front room, and it is in the front room of our current house too. The next thing that happened in that house was about a month after his passing. I was walking down the stairs and felt an urge to look up and into the front room, and when I did, I saw him. I saw him sitting on the bench with his hands on his lap. I started tearing up until he slowly turned his head fully around and stared at me. I ended up falling down the stairs, which was about 7 steps, and my mom came running in. He disappeared from the piano bench. The next experience in this house wasn't to me, but to my stepdad when I was about 11, after I had moved into the guest room. I was upstairs playing with my little sister when I heard him yelling. I ran downstairs and asked what had happened, and he looked at me, ironically enough, like he had seen a ghost. He told me he saw me run from the playroom/office straight past him into the room, slamming the bedroom door behind me. That freaked me out. Another time we went to Arizona in the same year. When we came back, we saw the doll that the great-grandma had given us sitting in the dining room and had fallen over to it, and its face was shattered. I had been terrified of going into the dining room the entire time that doll was there. We looked at the camera in there because we thought it was a Roomba, but no. it fell on its own, which of course told my mom and my stepdad exactly why all of us kids were terrified of that room. Then they got divorced and we moved out. A lot of stuff happened in that one.
That was a lot of stuff.
Like, that is a certified haunted house, that one.
That one sounds a lot like poltergeist activity to me. There's, like, so much going on. But sometimes a lot of things is going on in one house, and I'm like, is there a portal situation going on? But then if you take a step back and look, it just more seems like the family was haunted, because it was happening everywhere.
Yeah. Now, obviously, I think Granddad just came with his piano.
Oh, yeah.
Like, absolutely. But, like, yeah, like, it could be, like, a haunted family situation, but, like, I don't know, man. A lot of stuff happened in that. We had a sign with a cross on it that was glued onto the sign, and another sign that reeled, kneel and pay. Wait, kneel and pay? Oh, no.
I'm gonna read this story.
No, I've got it.
No, I've got it. I got it.
Okay.
You lost privileges. How many dark romance books do you read?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take over on the third story
Okay.
because Eric made a fatal mistake. The set of events takes place in the house that I currently live in and can't move out of for another 2 years. Yippee. So basically the start of it was with my mother's extremely abusive and disgusting, child-loving too much of a human being, ex-husband. He moved in with us. We had a sign with a cross on it that was glued... Okay. We had a sign with a cross on it that was glued into the sign, and another sign that said kneel and pray that was also glued on. When we first moved in, the cross and the little sign attached to it would nonstop fly at my head as I walked into the room. After they had gotten divorced when I was around 14, after he did some unfavorable things to me, whatever was throwing the cross and the little sign had left along with him. But however, there's other things here. I know my great-grandpa watches over my mom as she has gone to a medium
Hold
and... What's wrong?
Pyrrha messed up the camera.
Oh. I know my great-grandpa watches over my mom as she's gone to a medium and he has communicated that to my mom through her, but there's other things here. There's this one guy that I call Jeffrey that comes when I'm having sleep paralysis episodes, but also while I'm at school when I went to school, which was strange. Another one I have no clue who it is protects me, but is also mischievous and throws my crystals, acorns, and a tiny baby elf on the shelf of my floating shelves. That spirit has protected me from either a walker or a mimic that was trying to lure me outside. With that story, it sounded like my cat, but slightly off. My mom wasn't home, and it sounded right outside my window, or in my youngest brother's room. So I originally thought it was just my cat that got stuck in my brother's room again. Then I remembered he wasn't even there because he was at my mom's bed. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to ignore it, and it got even more aggressive and started banging on my bedroom window, which terrified me. After that, my bedroom door opened, and the words, "It's dangerous, get away from the window," popped into my head, which I like to think was that other spirit telling me to get away, so I ran to the kitchen. The banging on the window went to the side of the house, to the living room window, to the back door, which was by where I was sitting, so I walked over to the stairs. At around 4:56, it stopped. It started at about 3:24. That happened 2 days before Christmas last year. But last week is when I discovered either my great-grandpa's mom is also here or something is pretending to be her. Me and my sister decided it would be fun to play the ghost card game, and we asked if it was his mom, and it said yes. What's the ghost card game?
I don't know. I've never done that one.
We talked about random things in our lives and found it strange because she passed before our mom was even an adult. But yeah, I'd love your opinion or even that one. So I don't know what the ghost card game is, but I feel like I should look it up.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely sounds like you have a protecting spirit with you.
Yeah. It seems like that ex brought in a lot of disgusting things into the house. Obviously just him in general, but it sounds like some spiritual things came with the territory as well, which makes sense. You're that negative of a person, you're going to bring on a negative aura Yeah, it definitely sounds like something protected you. That thing that sounded like your cat, I mean, that does sound like exactly what you thought it was.
That sounds extremely like Walker. Like, do you remember that one story that we got? She was talking about how she heard something from the woods and it just started like circling her house, banging on the windows and stuff.
They're really notorious for circling and banging on your house.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, they definitely give a protector. It could be literally a house spirit, though, if you take care of your house.
Yeah.
I mean, a house spirit protected me from a windy boy once. Let's see. Okay. That was a lot. That was terrifying.
Yeah. I'm starting to think more and more you're right that it may be like the people of the house that are haunted.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows?
I mean, it seems like you guys are managing everything pretty well with it as far as... I mean, you're doing everything right. You stood away from your windows. You keep crystals. Of course, I'm not sure what you used your crystals for, but...
I definitely recommend putting up protection.
Oh, yeah. Black salt every entrance.
Yeah, I would cleanse first, window open, get all the energy, the negative energy out, fill that space back up with positives,
Probably
and then
some
line,
incense.
line the doorways and windowsills. For sure, because that's a lot.
If you're having trouble with walkers, definitely put up some iron at your entrances.
Even just like an iron nail.
Yeah,
would
iron
be better
nail,
than nothing.
horseshoe, cast iron. You can put a frying pan up if you give it the proper intention.
It's true. But with that, I mean, that's all I have for today.
Yeah, these were absolutely terrifying.
They were.
It just seems like they keep getting worse.
I know. They keep getting scarier each time. And next week will be even worse.
Oh, yeah.
Because of what we're talking about. But that is all for today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Happy Friday. I hope you guys have a fun weekend. And...
kneel and pay. Bye.